And we're doing a pork butt on a Weber kettle versus a pork butt and Instant Pot competition. It's 4 o'clock in the morning. And my pork butt is 12 pounds. It's probably to take 12 to 13 hours to cook. The Instant Pot apparently can do one in an hour. So the flavor's relatively close. Point to Instant Pot.
Welcome to the first ever Whiskey and Barbecue versus the cook versus the Instapot. Tweedledee versus fill in the blank. It's my sister-in-law. Trust me, you think I give him grief. This one right here when she comes in. All right, so this is Heather. Heather's got a bottle of Meiomi. Pinot Noir. And she's putting together a pork butt to go up against the cooks. And how long's that been going, Cook?
What time is it?
Nobody knows.
Probably about 12 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
All right, 12 hours. So there's an advantage to the Instant Pot.
Yeah, at 4:30 this morning, I decided that if this thing comes out relatively good, I might consider getting one, maybe, possibly. What are we doing?
All right, so right now I just need to finish cutting up the pork.
Okay.
I've got about 8 chunks here, and it's a 7-pound roast, so that should be about right.
All right, so Loch Lomond Scotch, yummy.
Meiomi, also yummy.
Okay, so what's the first thing for your rub? Oh, your spoons?
Thank you, sir.
Awesome.
Brown sugar.
Sugar.
Yep.
Does it matter what kind of brown sugar or just brown sugar?
I get a dark brown sugar, and that's what the recipe calls for.
Okay. 1 tablespoon?
3.
3 tablespoons. Good Lord.
Yeah. All right, next I am going to need the smoked paprika. So this is calling for 2 tablespoons of smoked paprika. I will probably measure just slightly light on that, and we're almost 2 teaspoons of sugar. No, that was salt, I'm sorry.
Or yeah, salt. So we're using pure sea salt. We're not using coarse kosher salt like I normally use.
No.
Okay.
And then I'm gonna do an equal amount of pepper.
So this is fine ground pepper. It's not the coarse ground that I use, and which makes sense because with an Instant Pot, I use my coarse seasonings, my coarse kosher salt, my coarse ground pepper, because it helps build my bark. That's where the smoke and everything sticks to it. In there, you're not building bark, you're building soup.
If anything, you're pushing the flavors in deeper into the meat. All right, next is the chili powder. Cumin is next.
All right, so what's next?
Next is the cayenne powder.
All right, here we go.
The recipe is calling for a 1/4 of a teaspoon. And I will probably use slightly less than that. Just don't tell Evan's family that we put cayenne pepper in here.
It'll be fine. I don't know if y'all can see this. There's maybe a cup of seasoning in there, maybe. And whenever I did my pork butt, I start off with a cup of pepper.
All right, so I'm just cutting this onion into 8ths. Basically, I just cut it in half, and then each half is gonna go into 4ths. And in lieu of using the trivet that came with the Instant Pot, I am actually, the trivet.
It's called a trivet.
Onion in the bottom of the pot.
Okay.
It's falling apart a little, really doesn't matter.
Okay.
Next, I'm just going to give my pork a little massage with this rub.
I'm kind of curious. So here's what I will say. A lot of people in the communities that I run in, which is the barbecue community, typically, they actually like using Instant Pots to make barbecue sauces. Because you can break them down really fast. You can get all day slow simmers. And apparently they're really good if you want to do like a quick chili. You'll smoke like a pork roast like you see me do before, like the pork shoulder, and throw that in there with your seasonings and everything else and just let it go. So we've got about...
That's fine.
Okay.
Again, as long as you have at least half a cup, but obviously we're using the Dr. Pepper for flavor reasons.
Still have about half the rub you made left.
Yes, I'm gonna sprinkle that all over the top. Had I not put pork in this, I would say reserve about 2 tablespoons of your rub for post, and I'll just kind of cook up some more, just because of cross-contamination issues there, but reserve about 2 tablespoons just to add to the pulled pork when you're finished.
Okay.
Okay, so now we're just ready to set our pot to pressure cook, and then we can just relax. So you want to make sure you have the seal on, and you want to make sure the seal is not pinched and has a little bit of a wiggle to it, otherwise you won't get a proper seal. So you can hear it turn on, you hear it lock, which is just a safety mechanism to ensure nobody tries to take the lid off while it's under pressure.
Sings.
That's right.
I made sweet tea in that today. I ain't gonna lie, it's pretty good.
I actually learned how to make popcorn in it.
Apparently there's a cheesecake number 17 that we're gonna do in it at some point. I don't know. It's a thing.
Yep. All right, so you want to make sure this is pointed toward the ceiling. It says venting and sealing, so when you are starting your cook, you want to make sure it's on sealing. And this is basically, this will pop up and let you know when you come to like a pressure for the pressure cooking.
Okay. And there's like buttons and stuff on the front of this, right?
There are buttons and stuff. The recipe calls to cook this for 65 minutes. Because I'm using a slightly
Very specific.
because I'm using a slightly larger roast, I'm going to go ahead and set it for 75, maybe 80 minutes. It probably doesn't need that much time, but I don't want to, you know.
So you're telling me that this is going to cook a 7-pound pork butt in 80 minutes?
Yeah, it would probably cook a 7-pound pork butt in 60 minutes. But I want to err on the side of caution.
All right, cool.
Since we're under pressure, so to say, so to speak. All right, so on here you will see, depending on your brand or model of Instant Pot, you will have different options. We are just using the pressure cook. Hey, Ryan, you want to come around and
So
see?
on a newer model like this one, the one that says pressure cook is just like the manual button on the old ones.
Yes, and then pressure level, so we're gonna turn it on. It's already, high pressure is already selected. If yours is on low pressure, you can just hit pressure level and just make sure high pressure is lit up.
Okay.
And then to adjust your time, you just push the up button or down button, depending on what you need to do, and select the amount of time that you would like your pot to cook. Don't forget to allow time for the pot to come to pressure.
How long does that take?
It depends on what's in there. If you're starting from frozen, which is a really cool aspect of the Instant Pot, it will take a little longer. So it just really depends on what's in it. If you're using something that's, you know, more room temperature or not something super cold, it'll come to pressure very quickly. Sometimes I will saute my meat just to add like a braise.
Okay.
And so the meat will actually be hot when I start to turn on the pressure. And so, I mean, that may only take a few minutes to come to pressure. This will probably take 10 minutes to come to pressure. Maybe even a little longer, but probably 10. It's gonna be my guess.
Okay, so cool.
So now it says on. You will know when it comes to pressure because your red little thing will pop up and it will start your countdown. It'll show like 120 on here or whatever your amount is.
That.
And when that button is up, you cannot remove the lid. It will not allow you. There's a safety feature.
And that's the sealing she was talking about, SEA, not CEI. And then venting, so you gotta make sure this is the sealing. Okay.
So I'm gonna point something out right quick. I know this isn't my verses, but here's what got me when I first started with this thing. This little guy right here actually wobbles, and there's a reason for that. When this thing decides to get rid of the pressure, this will automatically come over to venting, and it will start releasing pressure out this top here.
Okay.
This is also a manual release valve there, but I mean, you don't want to press on that because then you're going to burn yourself. It's freaking hot. But anyway, so if you get one and this is wobbly, that's okay. That's the way how you want it.
It's normal, and it can come off for cleaning as well. And another neat fact is that everything except for the exterior is dishwasher safe. This will not automatically go to venting, though. You do have to actually switch it over to venting.
Because mine did automatically earlier when I did the sweet tea.
I guess we'll see. So there's a difference. You will see on different recipes. This is something that was a little confusing to me. You will see what's called quick release and manual release. And a manual release, you just leave it, you let it count all the way down, and you don't touch it for however long you want or until this comes down. Now, if you leave it unsealed with the pressure off, it will gradually release the pressure for however long you want it to or until this seal comes down.
Okay.
If you do quick release, you just flip it over and you will see steam come up. So another good thing is make sure you're not putting it directly under a short cabinet.
80 minutes for this, probably roughly the same amount of time with this. We'll pull them out. Do you have to let stuff rest with this?
It's resting while it's doing the manual release.
It's a slow cook.
No, his is a slow.
So in true Whiskey and BBQ fashion, we rearrange the set again. Yay! Okay, so something just went beep, beep, beep. You didn't get any wine.
I know. It's a wine emergency. We'll get some.
Okay, so I'm gonna go get some wine while you make this thing explode.
Sure. Well, we're not going to make it explode yet. Our
Evan's gonna
timer.
get wine for you now.
Our timer is up, but it needs what's called a manual release for 15 minutes, which is the sort of the equivalent of what you would do resting yours.
I'm gonna
So
rest mine for like an
15
hour.
minutes, we're just not going to touch it. It'll start counting up instead of down on the timer, and after about 15 minutes, we'll flip this onto quick release, and then perhaps.
Okay, so how do we manually vent it?
It's manually venting on by itself right now.
I thought manually meant that you did something.
No,
manually
this
too.
thing literally runs itself.
So it's automatically venting.
It's automatic. Once the timer's up, it automatically starts a slow vent.
Okay, and it's gonna take 15 minutes, and then we do something.
And then I'll flick it on a quick release. It'll have a little. It may have a little steam. It may not even put much out, and then we can open it up. I did want to mention, in case I didn't earlier, that the recipe I got and that I'm using today came from a website called simplyhappyfoodie.com, and it is their Dr. Pepper pulled pork instant pot recipe. So we appreciate them letting us use that today. All right, as you can see, the Instant Pot's reading, about 17 minutes? It called for a 15-minute manual release. It doesn't hurt it to release longer, really, to ensure a tender meat, slow release is optimal. But I think if these guys have their big boy pants on, we're ready to quick release this sucker.
I'm waiting on you.
You ready? You sit side up. It may do nothing because
It hasn't
it's
blown up
so
yet.
long. It's gonna be like.
It's still got some pressure on there. I can see
Yeah.
that much.
It's gonna be. Right. We'll see. Are you ready?
Sure.
You duck and cover?
Probably not.
No. All right. PTSD gonna. So I just flip the lever, and essentially you just let it steam until the pink lever goes down. The pink. What do you call that? Bobble?
I can see how this would do a lot of really fun and exciting things, but all right, we'll let y'all go. We'll come back whenever this is done depressurizing. So,
Sounds like it's about to.
It's about.
oh,
to go.
now it's about done.
Yeah.
Oh, hey,
See, we would've
Haha,
missed it.
you don't get to leave.
So as soon as the pink little stopper goes down, you're fine to open up your pot. It's perfectly safe. It won't come down if it's still pressurized. So now we can get a good look.
It's boiling.
Yeah, it's hot in there. A little warm, a little toasty.
There's one thing that I want to do since I can see it sitting there, so I'm kind of curious.
With the bone?
Yeah.
How about it? I feel good about it. I feel confident. This is gonna go my way.
It's still kind of stuck.
Yeah, you're right. It's just not tender at all.
No, it's tender. I'll give you that. It's definitely tender. Smell it. You don't understand. It smells really good. And there's a lot of liquid in this pot now.
Yeah.
We started off with a Dr. Pepper and a half. Oh, by the way, if you leave a Dr. Pepper out for an hour and a half sitting on a table outside, don't go back and drink it.
It's not a good idea.
It might fly away on you,
It'll ruin your night.
as opposed to being around us. So, a little bit of shaking off, but not bad.
All right. So now I'm just going to remove the meat into the pot and shred it.
Here, you can use these tongs. Use that one, come on.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm gonna depressurize mine now. Okay, it's depressurized.
Yeah, I cooked to my audience, right? That's exactly what I did.
I cut half the pepper out of it
Yeah.
because mine kind of does things.
It's good though. I mean,
You
it's
put that
good.
back. Oh, I didn't get something.
That's kind of
No, we said we can make my pulled pork.
That's true.
So, I made the
Honey,
sauce.
all right.
I think because she's
Those onions are gone.
an honorable contender, that your secret sauce recipe going with her to Florida so she can use it in the future
I can do that.
might be a thing.
Yeah, I can do that. I also said this morning that if we get to 500 subscribers, I'll give the recipe for my sauce.
Are you ready to shred yours? What are you doing?
I'm gonna need room because you're taking up all the room.
Yeah.
I'm just sitting here picking at it.
Your snake went all the way around, didn't it? All right. Nicely done there, Cook.
Power pack died. We're gonna try this in 2 different pieces.
Okay.
So, have that. Just whatever. Don't be dainty.
We're supposed to eat that.
Yeah.
I just didn't realize that maybe I was supposed to be like,
Nope. You can eat that.
but such a lady over here.
Dig in.
So we're going to take your pulled pork, we're going to divvy it down into smaller pans, we're going to take it over to the families, and let the families decide which ones they prefer.
All right. We'll come back. Next time you see us, we're probably sitting at Evan's back porch, and Evan will tell us who the winner is.
Oh, that's good.
Macallan.
Callan 12. Good way to finish off the evening. We started off with some Lomond, and then we went through some Jameson. Well, you're still going through Jameson.
I've finished the rest of the Jameson.
I'm going through Macallan right now, and you're still on Meiomi.
Salami.
All right,
Big
so
bottle.
this was actually a pretty close race, considering. And I was going to film everybody on my side and say this is this and that is that, but we have alcohol here, and there's a lot of kids at my house. So, to keep in rules and regulations, you won't get that footage. However, here we are. Number 1 being the cook, got 6. Number 2 being the Instant Pot, got 4.
The flavor is relatively close. Point to Instapot.
Thank you very much for joining us.
Yes, thank you
Cheers.
for having
It's
me.
our first guest of the females. Hope to have you over more, except you're 13 hours away, but whatever.
Short 13-hour drive.
Yeah.
Congratulations. I really enjoyed
Yours
your
was good.
pork.
I will give you that. Yours was good.
I had 1 sandwich of each.
I think I had like 3 sandwiches of each.
You do that.
I put the stubs up and I was just like, oh my lord, that's delicious. A very good time. Until then, the best whiskey is your favorite.
Best barbecues, however the hell you want to make it.
The best wine is an open bottle.
And everything is shared best with friends.
Cheers.
Cheers.